Good afternoon, everyone. We are Inside China Business. There is a broad industrial classification of companies called consumer discretionary. Think here of companies with a broad consumer appeal across the whole world. Restaurant brands, apparel and clothing, cosmetics, cars, furniture, restaurants, things like that. They're non-essential items. They're not necessary for our survival. But when we have extra money, extra spending money, we do like to buy these things. And for our purposes today, we'll talk about three broad categories of consumer discretionary companies. The first category are the companies that are already here. They're already very busy and active in the Asia markets, especially in China and India. So think of Starbucks, McDonald's, Burger King, Hollywood movies, IKEA, the furniture store. All the major cosmetics brands are also here. So the first category of consumer discretionary companies realize how important Asia is for their future, and they're here competing for markets every day. There's a second category of companies. These are companies that are growing and they're very competitive in North American or European markets, and they are trying very hard to break into China and India and other markets here in Asia. They are focused on the need, the necessity to be competing for the consumer markets here in Asia. And there is a third category of company, which is companies in the consumer discretionary space that just need a new CEO. That is, they are not in the China market now, they're not competing in the India market, and they're not obsessed with how to get here. These companies need new leadership. Here is a chart from the Visual Capitalist. They defined consumer as someone who spends at least $12 a day on discretionary items. Now, 2030 is just 6 years away. And these are the biggest consumer markets in the year 2030. China plus India is going to be nearly 2 billion people. That's almost 5 United States, in other words. Asia has always been where most of the people are, and soon it's where most of the money is going to be made. There is a beautiful story in the Wall Street Journal about the new CEO of Adidas. It's a terrific piece, and it can serve as a good case study on management, on international business, and even supply chain. The man's name is Bjorn Gulden, and his first week on the job as CEO of Adidas, he gives out his cell phone number to the employees. There are 60,000 employees of Adidas worldwide, and he says, if you see anything going on at this company that needs my urgent attention, call me. And one of the first things Gulden did at Adidas was get rid of the external consultants, the business consultants. Think here of companies like McKinsey and Boston Consulting Group, Bain and Company, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte. There's a handful of others. And Gulden's thinking is we just don't need these people anymore. These business consulting companies make a lot of money advising global companies like Adidas. But Adidas operates around the whole world, and they hire a lot of people with really deep knowledge and experience in local markets. And Gulden, first few days on the job, decide anytime one of our people at Adidas sees something going on in the markets that we need to react to or do differently, there's no need to bring in somebody from outside. They can just call me directly. And in Adidas's case, the consultants were recommending things that were suicidal to a company like Adidas. In the most notable example, consultants advised Adidas to get out of sports like cricket and rugby. They claim that these sports have no real global appeal. But Gulden said, no, this is a serious mistake. These sports are huge in local markets. And people who really do understand the sporting goods industry know that. I confess that I don't know anything about cricket. When we were doing some of the research to do this video right here, it's really the first time I tried to understand it. And watching the game, it looks really hard. And it's obvious that the players are highly skilled and the stadiums are packed with people. We looked into the numbers a bit and this graphic came up. 90% of India watches cricket. And that's over 1 billion people right there. And these billion people are about to have a lot more money to spend. Here are some other numbers. 300 million people play cricket. 40% of cricket fans are women. Why is that number important? Why is it important how many women like cricket? And it's because women make all the buying decisions. If you're a married man, you already know this. If you're a single man, this is the most important thing you're going to learn on YouTube this month. When you get married, your wife is going to decide how all the money in your house is going to be spent. If you go shopping for a shirt and you really like the shirt and she doesn't, you're not going to be able to wear that shirt anytime you're together. And if you have a bad day when you're wearing that shirt, she's going to say it's your fault because you wore the shirt. If you and your wife are out shopping for a new car and you really like the black car and she really likes the red car, you're going to buy the red car. It doesn't matter how much more you know about cars than she does, but you're not going to want to drive around with her in a black car when she doesn't like it. When you go shopping for a home, if you really like house number 1 and she really likes house number 2, you're going to buy house number 2. You do not want your wife to wake up every day for the next 50 years in a house that she doesn't want. And again, this is something married men already know, and this is something consumer discretionary companies also know. It doesn't matter if you're an American or Mexican or Indian or Chinese. It doesn't matter who you are or where your wife is from. Any man married to any woman, anywhere in the universe knows this is true. And for married men, life is actually pretty simple, at least in that respect. You don't even have to go shopping anymore. So working out these numbers and taking a piece from the article, over 400 million Indian women love cricket. And they're about to have a lot more money to spend. So then Adidas joins up with the Indian national cricket team. And in the first 3 months, they sell 600,000 shirts. And to repeat an earlier part of the story, the consultants that Adidas hired told them to get out of the cricket market. So they gave it up. Gulden says, no, this is a market we need to be in, and change direction of the company. Why did he do that? Well, I like to think that somebody working for Adidas in India called up Mr. Gulden at his house and said, if we're interested in selling shoes and shirts to 1 billion Indians from now on, we need to do something with cricket. And there are some other really great aspects to this story from the Wall Street Journal. For example, the need to have a personal relationship, a strong relationship with key suppliers and market players across the world. That is a face-to-face relationship. We need to be on a first name basis with people who run factories that build our products. We need to be happy to get on a plane, fly over here, meet them personally, work through problems together. If we want to compete in these markets, this is the mindset that companies need to have.